It's been a while since my last video on my Teardrop camper, but I've made a few modifications to it, and I think it's something that any DIY guy might want to think about when they're first planning their build of their camper. I'm going to show you a few things that I've done here recently, and maybe you can pick up some ideas from it. So the first thing I've changed is I've added 2 shelves. One goes all the way to the back, and then one is just about 4 inches wide with a turnaround little place there, a little extra room on the ends. Both of them match. I didn't consider how much stuff that you like to have in your camper before you fall asleep, but then are kind of in the way when it's time to sleep. So there needs to be places to stuff some things and shove some things when you're camping. So I put together these 2 shelves and put them in, and I think they're going to suit me just fine. So another thing I've changed is I spoke on the last video of needing more air circulation. I have an installed sunroof vent up here that opens up and allows some air to escape from the top. But I wanted more fresh air down by our heads when we sleep to make sure we are not using up all the oxygen in this tight space. So I put a vent there that can open and close from the inside. And then I put this cover on the outside. And it has a storm flap up in here that can open up. You gotta flip the little tabs. But you can open it up and then lock it open so you get fresh air going into your camper at night. Good idea, good thing to think about. And next, I put this table mount rail on the wall there, and I built a table that can sit, well, when we travel, it can sit up here on these shelves, but it'll lean up against the wall in that space right there when we're sleeping or when we're camping. But I'll show you how that table mounts right there on that space right there. So I just made a pine table with some pine boards, and it slides into that mount that I put on the wall with another mount that mounts to the pine boards. But I knew it probably wouldn't have the strength to hold up the weight of this table, so I had to install this support cable, and then it just has an S-hook that hooks to the top of the camper. And now we have an indoor space where I can sit on this side, another person can sit there on that other side. But you're never going to take 3 people teardrop camping with you. But if there was a third, a small child could sit with their back up against those shelves right there and face this way. Board games, cards, eat, whatever, tablets, computers, puzzles, reading maps, drawing pictures, coloring books, who knows. Right here. So here's a close-up view of the hardware pieces that I used to mount this table. I mounted this one to the wall, and I'm not sure if that's right, but the curved part goes, there's a curved part and then a flat part. And the curved part goes onto the top, whether that's on the table or if that's on the wall. But this one here fits into it, so when you slide your table, the round part goes up into that hook, and then you drop the table down and it locks. And because of this hook over the top, that little round tube part almost can't slide out. So it really holds a lot of leverage. It would take a lot of pressure to pop that out of this piece here. In fact, it's kind of, I have to use a screwdriver to get it open as is right here. So this is the piece. If if you got a DIY project, you could do lots of things with this kind of thing. You could put special maybe utility hangers out on the outside of your camper that you don't want going down the road. When you get your camping spot, you just snap them on, hang coats on it, whatever your camping gear is, where you want to keep an organizer, some kind of kitchen chow kit you could put and mount it right to the wall of your camper. You're the DIY person. Do what you want. And while I was at it, I built a pine table for the outside too. Its mount, the hardware is exactly like that inside of the camper. It will hold quite a bit of weight. I wouldn't sit on it by any means, but I put a prop bar that goes down to the camper. But to take it down, it's just a matter of popping it up, and it pops right out. Packs away, and down the road you go. And then last but not least, I needed a little door stopper. The wind was always blowing my door shut when I was either loading or unloading something. I had my hands full. So this way I can tie my door back, and just makes things a little bit easier. And those are my recent modifications to my camper. I have plans to do more. Eventually, I want this outside to be some other more durable siding material rather than just plywood painted. I anticipate having to paint it every year to keep that plywood. It's already starting to weather check a little bit. That's something you need to think about too, or what your outside is going to look like, and how much work you want to put into it. So eventually I'll change the outside, eventually. And these are just things that I thought I needed that would make my camping a little more comfortable, a little easier, really affordable projects. Yeah, I think it made it a better camper. So I hope to see you in a campground somewhere. If you see me, stop, and I'll probably talk longer than you want me to. So, see you there.